Alright, so I am back after a quote unquote hiatus. And I say that because I actually had some difficulties, some actual technical difficulties with my microphone right there. You can't see it because, it's off screen, it's off camera, whatever. And I don't want to get too close to it because that'll just make things louder. And my voice is already naturally loud enough as it is, so I don't want to make my voice even louder than that. But uh, this is going to be essentially a part two to that talking about stuff or whatever I named it video that I made a few months ago, or was it last month? I can't remember honestly. So I'm saying this both for the sake of context and for those of you who haven't actually seen that first video. I'm repeating myself, but just a very quick disclaimer, a very important disclaimer though. This is going to be a video in which I talk about a lot of topics that are going to be hard for a lot of people to listen to. You don't have to actually watch this video. Just keep it on the background, like treat it as an audio podcast thing, because again, the visuals are not going to be much of much interest. It's going to be me talking, like nothing interesting is going to be going on. So if you want to treat it as like an audio podcast, if you have YouTube Premium, etc., just do that. But I actually wanted to talk about where I stand in terms of, like I guess what I'd call the usual stuff. So I don't think I mentioned this before on my channel, and I don't think I mentioned this last time in that last video. I really can't remember for some dumb reason. But I actually do, in context, have a religious history. Like I'm what they call an agnostic deist, which means that I do in fact believe in God, but I don't actually follow any specific religion. And on top of that, another thing that I wanted to mention is that I have also accepted the fact that I will one day indeed die. I don't have a problem with that. That's actually why I've been doing so many things that are just things that I really treasure the most. Like, for example, if we're talking things I literally treasure the most, my gaming collection over there, which is obviously not going to show up on camera because it's over there and I'm over here. But that's actually one of the main reasons why I have so many games and I've been accumulating a collection of so many systems, which is it's right next to that. It's right there. I actually have display stands for some of my handhelds. I don't have to show that on here because I'm pretty sure that everyone has seen that. Everyone has seen my gaming collection as well, like my actual physical gaming collection. And that's actually, by extension, the reason why I've been trying to collect and review every single Game Boy, DS, 3DS, whatever. I'm really getting off topic. I should probably get back to the more important side of things. But yes, I have, in fact, accepted the fact that I will one day eventually die. And also, once again, I have no problem with that. It's why I'm trying to make the most of my life, in the here and now. So, if we're going to talk about where I stand from a philosophical perspective, though, that's kind of a different story, but also not really, I guess. So I think I kind of touched upon this in that last video. I'll keep bringing that up. By the way, you'll have to get used to hearing the phrase "in that last video" or "in this last video" because it'll make sense in the sake of context. So pardon me, but I don't think I mentioned this. I'm actually quite disappointed with humanity. Like I mentioned, how it seems to be so reliant on conflict and stuff like that, and how it keeps getting worse and worse and worse as the days go by, and how it doesn't seem to improve. But a main thing that I didn't actually point out is for those of you who seem to think that I'm being like annoying, and I mean like annoying, like obnoxious annoying, like not annoying, like cartoony annoying, like I'm supposed to be silly and cartoony, but I know when to be serious. But I digress. Or preachy or lectury, no, because I actually do know what I'm talking about when I talk about these topics. No, the reason why I keep going on and on and on and on isn't to dwell on these kind of topics. It's because, and I've told a few of my friends, like people who I talk to in the real world, but put it this way, I'll stop talking about these things when humanity actually decides to impress me and surprise me for once, instead of relying on conflict over and over and over again. Like, you can't really blame me for going on and on about these topics because, humanity just hasn't really done much to surprise or impress me at this point. Like, it's just constant conflict over constant conflict. Also, pardon me, my nose is kind of itchy. And it doesn't even, bother to, even try and improve upon itself. Like, And I'm not just talking like argument conflicts either. Like I'm talking about things like mass shootings or acts of violence in general. Like it seems that every single passing day, minute, hour, second, there's always something going on. Always something of that caliber going on. And what doesn't help matters is news media outlets or news in general. Like again, news articles online, newspapers, news broadcasts don't help matters because they just sensationalize the crap out of those things. And this is not meant to be interpreted as sarcasm, it's meant to be taken seriously. But I do want to say this. Yeah, in spite of the fact that they're often cited as professional, credible sources, yeah, not so much, actually, believe it or not. Especially because, again, sensationalism just makes things worse. And they will use the most manipulative and exaggerated headlines or descriptions, or in the case of actual news broadcasts that you see on TV, they actually cut out clips and they want to manipulate their audience as much as humanly possible. They will do anything to get your attention. And that actually kind of also reaches its apex because we have people that live in that, oh, it's on the news or it's in the newspaper, etc., etc. So that means that's real. Like people live in that mindset, which is, again, it's a result of sensationalism, which is not a good thing. That actually viscerally disgusts me. Not the people that have that mindset, no, like I'm not going after anyone, but just like, if anything, it's, the news outlets, like they just make things like this worse, and it just, like, it's not good. Pardon me, I had to swallow right there for a minute. And probably another thing that makes this worse, like with the whole sensationalism thing, is, for example, this is gonna go really deep, but I have to say for the sake of context, but for example, usually celebrities who have had their lives absolutely just like destroyed by fabrications or sensationalism in general. But like in the case of having people in general, their lives ruined or destroyed by newspapers, news outlets, news broadcasts, whatever, there have been instances in which people have had their lives ruined so badly that they either try to or successfully do commit suicide. But yet, news, they do not care. All they care about is entertain you and manipulating their audience as much as humanly possible. I will admit, before anyone says that I'm being hyperbolic or whatever about that the whole people trying to commit suicide or actually committing suicide because of news, whatever, that's not actually that common from my understanding. So I just wanted to point that out right then and there. But it's not going to change the fact that it's actually viscerally disgusting. Hold on, my computer wants to go to sleep. But like, openly speaking, both as an actual person, as an individual, and as a modern day philosopher, no, I want these problems solved. I want humanity to start improving upon itself and surprising or impressing me for once. And by the way, before this gets taken completely out of context, no, I'm not talking about that, the whole I expect better out of humanity for it to actually surprise or impress me for once. No, I'm not being a Darwinist about that or anything. I'm being like actually philosophical about this because like I mentioned in that other video, which again I told you I'd go back to that. Like that's actually again why people tend to mock or laugh at the whole thing when people actually want world peace. People mock or laugh at because at the rate we're going, it's pretty much impossible. Like the cliche is why can't we just all get along? But the reason why it's perceived as a cliche is because of all the aforementioned context that I presented earlier. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I really have to say, like in regards to these kind of topics, because I feel like I've probably said just about everything and anything at this point. In this video, not like in general, I'm pretty sure that I'll find something to talk to you guys about in another video at some point in the future, but I'm talking about as far as this video is concerned. I don't think I have anything else to say because I think I have spoken for everyone, like when I said all these things. And I want to say this, actually to close the video, but I used to be afraid of talking about these things. I used to be an absolute coward. An absolute coward. But no, if anything, I've spent so much time and a vast majority of my life being silent about these topics. And me being open and public about these kind of topics in the here, in the now, in the present day shows that I am not afraid anymore. I'm done being the coward that I used to be. I'm not that coward anymore. I've evolved as a person. I've changed a lot. And once again, if you want an example as to how much I've changed, well, again, that other video that I made, the just talking about stuff video. So, I guess since I tackled pretty much everything that I can for the time being, and I just closed the video with a really deep and meaningful quote, not much else to say except this is Sir Bop-A-Lot signing out. I will see you guys in the next video.